What's up, everyone? Welcome back to WillND. Conference plays truly underway. We're going to get some good old-fashioned traditional matchups this week. So excited for that. And yeah, they also have some games to recap, Jeffrey.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Glad that we're having another week to discuss college football, the Week 4 recap, Week 5 previews. Some good games. We know what the big one is. Alabama, Georgia. But there's a lot of other matchups that have quite the intrigue. A lot of games that can't wait to get into. And recapping Week 4, like we always do, recapping the games is always fun as well. So definitely appreciate you guys for being either on WillND or Only Talk Sports. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. All right, check out. Nope, I don't want to do that. There we go. As looking at the games, App State doesn't look very good this year, fortunately for them. As they got
App State, it finally looks like they're going to have a bad season, doesn't it? Like, they've been so consistent, right? The bastion of consistency in the Sun Belt. This doesn't look like their year. It looks like they're finally going to have a rough season, which is kind of sad for App State fans.
Nebraska fans, they thought they had a playoff team, but they had Illinois go in there and win. And Luke
you let
Altmaier,
me down,
man.
Nebraska.
What did you think of Raiola? Do you think he still has a ways to go, or I thought he was all right, but down the stretch he just couldn't make them. He was like just missing the throws down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, he threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but like you said, it was at the end of the game when it mattered the most that the key plays were not made. Overall, I thought he played good, but at the end, and that's what's been the problem for Nebraska. Closing out games, the Scott Frost curse. Thought they were getting it out of him, right? And maybe they still are. Illinois is looking solid. They look like a really solid team. Luke Altmaier, like you mentioned, played well, 4 touchdown passes. I think he finally is seemingly getting those turnover issues that has plagued him for basically his whole career behind him for the most part. And maybe Illinois is like legitimately good. Like maybe they're good this year again. Maybe Brett Bielema has turned them around after a rough season last year. But at Nebraska, if they were truly, I wouldn't say back, but like their first season of all these garbage seasons that they've had, like they finally were going to have a great season. They needed to win this game. I thought they were going to win this game. And it's frustrating that they let it slip through their fingers. Raiola, I think, is a good quarterback. I think he's really talented. But yeah, he didn't make some of those plays down the stretch. And maybe this will be a game where he learns from his mistakes and does better than, in a future game that's very close down the stretch. We'll have to see.
There was a call at the end that Nebraska fans were mad about. I think it was pass interference or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But wasn't meant to be for the Huskers.
It's tough with stuff like that because a lot of times, I mean, you could say, yeah, the interference, or a certain call, but like if you played better overall, it wouldn't have mattered, right? I mean, I agree. Like in certain situations, stuff should be called, and it probably should have been, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. It's just they lost. They were close, and they are better this year. They're better this year, absolutely.
They're better this year. Like they busted part of the Scott Frost ghost, but some of that ghost still remains.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they're halfway there. They haven't gotten all the way there yet. They're still not old Nebraska, but they're better than what they've been recently. So that's still a plus.
I think the same thing can be considered with Syracuse, although they did lose to Stanford.
Yeah. Syracuse, man. I mean, we had a rough night here. I mean, I thought Syracuse would win. I mean, Stanford, I said when we talked about this game, like Stanford, not a bad team, right? Like they're getting better. They look better, this year so far. But Syracuse, after what they did against Georgia Tech, I'm like, they're going to get it done. Kyle McCord, and he played pretty good. It's the same thing as Ray
turnovers.
It's not like McCord, just ruined the game, but like you said, turnovers. It just Stanford found the way.
Yeah. every year, every year since they've been bad, really, Stanford's had like that one upset a year. Like I remember 2021. Remember when Oregon beat Ohio State, and everyone was like, "Oh, is this Oregon's year? Can they win the title?" And then they go down to Stanford and lose. And
Yeah,
then
I'll never forget that game. That was hilarious. That was the Cristobal, the mistake.
No, that was that was after.
Oh, that was after. I thought that was
Yeah.
the game. Okay.
No, yeah, Stanford was like 4-8 that year, and they beat Oregon. And then the year after, they of course beat my Irish in South Bend.
Well, you're right. Stanford normally doesn't. I mean, they had the game against Colorado last year. But
Yeah,
I mean,
that was the last game I was going to say.
But the thing is that for this year, do you think that this was their one game, or do you think it actually compound into a couple more wins? Like they'll win 5-6 games. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if they win this week, that would be really crazy. But we'll see. We'll see how many games they can win. The Virginia Tech game looks winnable. SMU and Wake Forest.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if they win this week, oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely have some winnable games. They have Tech, SMU, Wake. NC State doesn't look that good.
Yeah, they could. They could.
Cal, I mean, San Jose State, they could win 6.
Yeah, I mean, the ACC is just not a great conference. So, I mean, there's going to be a couple teams that, make a bowl game. Kind of like Boston College last year, Jason. Last year, making a bowl game when they were terrible. But Boston College is better this year. But, I mean, there will be a couple. So maybe Stanford's that team. Maybe they go 6-6 when they really aren't all that good. Jason says he almost went to the Syracuse game, Stanford game, but he didn't think it was going to be good.
Yeah.
Said he should.
Connection problems with Jeffrey. We're going to wait a moment. Let's see.
Yeah, sorry about that. I cut out. Jason says you better show some respect to BC. O'Brien's going to do well there. Yeah, I'm telling you last year. I'm just saying there's going to be a bad ACC team that makes a bowl game.
Well, Washington State, the Cougs stayed unbeaten in a battle against San Jose State. So maybe San Jose State's good. We'll see. But Mateer, once again, was the whole offense pretty much for the Cougs. Because he had 111 rushing and 390 running.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was dynamic. I mean, it is frustrating for Washington State, though, that they gave up this many points. Literally, if they had have won this game by more, they probably would have been ranked this week. But since they barely won, they're still in the other receiving boats. But, I mean, a win's a win. I mean, for a team like Washington State, I mean, to get a win like this is definitely going to increase their chances of making a bowl game. I'm sure the rest of their schedule's not that bad since they're not playing, too many super tough teams. But it was a good win to get a win. But still, like after beating Washington last week, you'd have thought they'd have done a little better than this. But hey, again, they won. But it.
Yeah, exciting for the Cougs to be 4-0. They have I think they're playing. They might have a bye, but they have another. They have an interesting contest coming up.
I think they play Boise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because I saw the other day that was like the late game this week. I was like, that is actually, I think, a good late game slate. It's decent. There's a few decent games late this week.
As my Irish can't really pass the ball still, but did run well enough to beat Miami of Ohio. Kind of a frustrating game for the Irish, but Bo Collins,
Okay, like
and Jeremiah Love are
the thing
bright
with
spots.
Notre Dame, man, is that they did not look good at the beginning of this game. I was like, what are you doing, Notre Dame? But then they got it together and won comfortably. It's like, just consistently play well, Notre Dame. It's all we're asking you to do, right? Just consistently play well. They did. I mean, the first quarter was ugly, but my thing is, I'm looking at Riley Leonard's stats, man. I mean, on the ground, insane, but through the air, not a lot of passing yards. If Notre Dame, like I told you last week, if they're going to be a great team this year, or get back to that, maybe make the playoffs somehow, they could backdoor their way in after losing the horrible game that they did. Riley Leonard is going to have to be more dynamic in the passing game. It's not good enough. But he's talented on the ground, good win, but, man, they looked ugly. They looked rough at first.
Defense has been great. Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price have been great. Bo Collins has looked good. There have been bright spots this season, but just frustrating that the passing yards, only 154 against 0-3 Miami of Ohio. It's just frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially because Notre Dame was supposed to have more dynamic receivers. You know, they're supposed to have the weapons.
The receivers haven't been horrible. It's just Riley's throwing's really been bad.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, he never really was a great passer, though, like, even in Duke. And I kept saying it. Like, everybody was hyping him up to death. And I'm like, he's good. But his passing's not really there. I mean, he can throw the ball, but if he wants to be – I mean, because I'm seeing him, like, some people saying he's going to be a first- or second-round quarterback. I'm like, if you really think Riley Leonard's going to be a first- or second-round quarterback, he's going to have to pass better. I mean, he's not there right now.
And
man, I told you Rutgers, man. I told you Rutgers. If Virginia Tech did not lose to Vanderbilt,
bad pick on my part.
If Virginia Tech had not lost to Vanderbilt, I would have picked them. But since they did, I'm like, I'm going to Rutgers, man.
Yeah.
I don't usually pick Rutgers to anything, but you know they're all right, you know. And Virginia Tech, to their credit, almost came back and won, but too little, too late.
Yeah, Tootin had another good game. He's a nice little running back for the Hokies, but yeah, not going to be not the season that Hokie fans were hoping for sure.
People thought they might have been a contender in the ACC after last season. Nope, doesn't look like it.
No.
I mean, I will say that one thing that was Virginia Tech is that they did lose both games out of conference.
Yeah.
So they still have the ACC to play for. You
use
that argument.
It looks like the ACC is a two-team race.
Clemson, Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, probably they're done, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Texas mauled Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, I mean, Arch Manning, he's getting the job done. You know, I mean, I will say, though, like, I still think if Ewers gets healthy, they need to go back with him. I don't really agree with some fans of the Longhorns. Like, oh, you know, he needs to, you know, be the starting quarterback now. I'm like, I mean, if Ewers is healthy and back, I think he needs to start. But Manning, Arch Manning is talented, but he's beaten up on garbage teams, though. I mean, like, Ewers did win you the Michigan game. He took you to the playoffs last year. I got to go with Alabama last year. You got to go with Ewers. I mean, it's his last season. I mean, that's just my opinion when he comes back.
Marshall, I was thinking like Marshall.
Yeah, it was 7-0, man, and then it all went crumbling down.
I mean, Ohio State's defense didn't look great, and they haven't really played anyone yet. So it'll be
I think Ohio State's really good, but I definitely think that they're beatable.
Yeah,
they're beatable. I mean, some people thought they were like going to be the best team this year. I don't think that's true. I don't think Texas, Georgia, I think are better contenders. They know Georgia look bad, you know, against Kentucky, but I think Ohio State's good though. But yeah, they aren't.
I mean, they have Michigan State this week, so
yeah, it's not going to really test them too much.
But it'll be interesting to see if they just bludgeon Iowa or Iowa's in it.
Yeah. I don't think that they're unbeatable. I think that's the takeaway with Ohio State.
Ole Miss beat up on Georgia Southern.
Yeah, just expected. This game right here, Tennessee, Oklahoma. I don't know if you got this takeaway with this game, but I felt that Tennessee was lenient with Oklahoma. I felt that they could have just blown the doors off of them. You know what I'm saying? Like after that first half, right? I mean, to me, and again, this is my opinion, but I thought Tennessee could have won this game like 40-10, maybe even 45-10. It just felt that way. They were just dominating.
Yeah. I just think the intensity might have dropped off a bit.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was Heupel like calling it more conservatively or the players just I don't know. I don't know because it just seemed like Heupel usually kind of like the NC State game. He's usually just put on the gas like we're just gonna blow you out, you know. Yeah. But then this game, like because of the whole, you know, like him going back to Oklahoma where he was a player, where he was a DC. I don't know. He just took his foot. The play calling, everything just evaporated after the half. It just evaporated. And what are your thoughts on Oklahoma benching Jackson Arnold? I don't agree. I know he sucked, but Oklahoma's O-line was garbage in the game too. And Hawkins, you know, the other guy, the backup, I mean, he tried. He had that amazing flip to the end zone, but I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, they're playing Auburn, so, I mean, they could probably put a tin can in as quarterback and they'd still win that game, but
unless Auburn actually tries.
I just don't think this Auburn team's good, to be honest. I mean, I just don't think they're good, but we can.
Saying they were going to win 7 games or whatever. Did you hear? Cut out again? Why did the betting odds say that Auburn was going to win 7 games in the preseason?
Because people thought Hugh Freeze was a good quarterback coach and a quarterback guru.
Well, Peyton Thorne's just bad. I mean, that's what people don't understand. Like I never
people
thought
didn't
he was
understand
any good.
that. They didn't understand.
People thought he was good. When he was at Michigan State, he had Kenneth Walker, he had Jaden Reed, Jalen Naylor, and they barely beat Indiana, who was garbage that year. He's not that good. He just is not that good. That's all I can say. Oh, boy. I just don't feel like he's that good. I really don't.
I just don't think the core of their offense is well coached. Like
do you blame it all on Hugh Freeze, or do you just think it's that you don't have the personnel?
For Auburn, I think it's maybe a bit of both, but I also don't think Hugh Freeze. I think Hugh Freeze, he paid for players when other schools weren't, and suddenly when it's an even playing field, it's not so easy.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I just don't think Oklahoma, they had the offense with Lincoln Riley. Now they have a good defense with Brent Venables, but they couldn't match it together. Like,
yeah, you need the offense. It's like Iowa. It's the same thing as Iowa, right? Like Iowa's defense was elite, but their offense was complete garbage. Now that their offense has some life, their defense isn't as elite. Then you got Oklahoma, like they had the best offense, whatever, but they had no defense. Now their defense is better, but their offense is not good. You can't have it both ways. Why can you not have it both ways? That's why, like with Indiana, it's so great. Like they're good on both sides of the ball so far. You know, it's bad teams, but like you have to be good. You have to be good on both sides of the ball. You can't be good on one and not the other. Like that's what I kept trying to tell Tim with USC. It's like you're never going to be good unless you got defense. You're just not. Like, no matter what Caleb Williams does, you're going to lose games. You have to have a defense. You got to be able to stop the other team. That's why Oklahoma got destroyed in the playoff every single time, no matter who they had at quarterback, because they had no defense with Lincoln Riley.
Mizzou, man. Like, I was hoping, I thought it would be fun if Mizzou was good this year because you're new team. That's good.
Yeah, I was kind of rooting for Missouri too because of what they did last year, beating Ohio State. It was kind of cool, but yeah, they're not it. I mean, I don't think they're bad, but they don't know how to bottle up the magic of last season into this season yet.
They did lose a lot of recruits on talent on defense, but still, I mean, it's Vandy, man. Like,
I mean, Brady Cook. Noel had a good game on the ground. Burden's talented, but I mean, there's something missing there. Like you said, the defense. I mean, Vanderbilt, I don't think Vanderbilt's complete trash because Diego Pavia is good. But yeah, Missouri should have won this game by at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. At least. I mean, I was in a way almost rooting for Vandy. I was like, get the win, it'd be great. But I mean, Missouri clearly isn't a top 10 team. They're not. If they were, they would have won this game by a lot. Like, I don't care how bad of a game you have. Like, you're a great team, but you have a bad game. Like Georgia against Kentucky, it was a road game. Kentucky, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are the former Georgia quarterback going to Kentucky. I don't know. I guess there was some things there. Missouri was at home, and it's a Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's just different. They're not really supposed to, give you a challenge. So it was disappointing for Missouri. They're, like I said, definitely not a top 10 team.
Mm-hmm. Miami doing what it's supposed to do. Good job, Miami.
I will say it first.
Oh, yeah. At first, it was a little sketch.
It was like 20-15 at first. And I was like, hey, South Florida, keeping it close like they did with Bama. And then Miami just blew the doors off them. I was like, okay. I mean, Miami finally doing what you're supposed to do against teams like this. Miami, you're not blowing it like Middle Tennessee. You're getting it done. So congrats to Miami and Coop and all the Miami faithful out there. Congrats. I think Miami's really solid this year. Just don't blow it in the ACC. Just don't blow it. Keep it up.
Kent State got destroyed again.
Man. You make Penn State's offense elite. When you make Penn State's offense look elite, then you know you're bad. Kent State's just absolutely awful.
Michigan beating USC. I did not see this one coming.
Oh, my Lord, Will. Oh, boy. All I know is that USC had this game. That's all I can say. They had the game. I mean, they controlled the game. I mean, Miller Moss, he threw a lot of passes, and a lot of it was short, but he did his job. He didn't make any mistakes, played well. But Michigan, I mean, it just feels like with Alex Orgy, that they can run, right? I mean, they can run the ball. They have that ability. It's kind of like Milroe and Bama, like he can run, and Mullings, they're using Mullings more. He can run. I mean, he's better than Edwards. I mean, just don't use Donovan Edwards that much. So the Big House is a tough place to play. Okay, I mean, it is a tough environment. You have to be really focused. Like, even if Michigan's not a great team this year, even if they're still not a great team this year, and they still lose 3-4 games, whatever, their home environment's hard. So I understand, like, it's tough to win there. But if USC was legitimately what we thought that they were after beating LSU, they would have won this game, and they did, even with the QB change. This was disappointing. This was more disappointing for USC than it was impressive for Michigan. Even though it was impressive for Michigan, USC just disappointed losing this game.
Yeah, their defense just wore down. I still think they have a decent defense, but it did wear down.
Yeah, it's better than it was last year, but like you said, it's not as good as I thought it was after the LSU game.
It gives hope to Notre Dame, though. If Michigan won it by just running the ball, Notre Dame could beat USC.
Oh man, gotta throw that in, man. Notre Dame 11-1 playoff, like make the playoff at 11-1 with a Northern Illinois loss, and they lost. Northern Illinois lost. We'll get to them.
We're gonna get to that. I'm very sad, very disappointed in the Huskies.
Notre Dame should be undefeated right now. My Lord, it's just. All right, this game, man. Oklahoma State. What were they doing? What were they doing all game? Like they didn't even play. They didn't even try until the fourth.
I mean, Utah's a good defense. Gotta give credit to Kyle Whittingham. Their defense stifled Oklahoma State. I think. What was it? The running back for Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon.
He only had like 4 yards this year.
He only had like 4 yards a carry, or like less than that, against Utah. So Utah bottled him up. And I mean, Zach Wilson's brother, he wasn't great, but they were able to run the ball a lot better than Oklahoma State did. And Singer, who bombed pretty bad at SC, had a good game with almost 100 yards, and they were able to get out Oklahoma Stillwater with the win.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that Utah basically, their defense has saved them the last couple years without Cam Rising. I mean, that's the only reason they're still relevant. I mean, Kyle Whittingham has that defense playing so well, even on the road, that without Rising in a mid offense, they can still win big games. Can they make, can they make the playoff? Man, it's possible.
They probably will.
But I mean, like with a 14 playoff, could they make the playoff? No, but they're always gonna be there. They're always gonna be in the conversation with.
I mean, they ran the ball well though. Like, I guess they have a good rushing attack. They ran the ball well.
Yeah, I know. The running back had a ton of yards, 182-yard Bernard. I think he was there last year. I mean, he didn't put up that many yards last year once. For all this time and just can. Like some people are saying that maybe they were better this year. I mean, they made it close at the end, but man, for the vast majority of this game, they were just horrible. And like I said, Ollie Gordon has not had the stats this year. He's not had the stats. I don't know if it's the O-line or maybe he just isn't, playing as well. I think it's the O-line. He just isn't getting rushing lanes, but disappointing for Oklahoma State. It was disappointing. But, hey, I'm glad we picked Utah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Zach Wilson's brother improves.
I mean, he's not bad as long as he takes care of the ball and that.
Yeah, he's a freshman too, so he'll be there a while.
Well, that's good. They're going to need him to improve because Cam Rising, he just isn't reliable, and this is his last year of eligibility anyway. Mm-hmm. It sucks too because Rising's so good. He's fun to watch, but he just can't stay on the field.
Mm-hmm. Kansas State, laid an egg in Provo.
Oh my Lord, man! If you want to go to like title or like the label of the most disappointing team last week, man, K-State. I was not seeing this coming. I mean, I thought like me and you. I think we thought I thought in the back of my mind, I'm like BYU, tough environment, but no, no way. There's no way I'm picking BYU, right? I'm like K-State. They're gonna get it done, but I'm like it's gonna be close. I thought about it. But if you had told me before, if you're like Biff from Back to the Future, where you got all the sports, the games and the scores or all that, and that's why he's loaded. If you had the score, if you knew the score in the future, and you told me, and you said this game's gonna be 38-9. BYU, I'm gonna be like, dude, you're nuts. There's no way. It's just so odd. I mean, it was just such an odd thing to see because BYU's been kind of mid, man. I mean, they were just mid in their earlier games this season. They weren't all that good. So I mean, I don't know. I think K-State might not be legit because they didn't the Tulane game. The Tulane game, I mean, and Oklahoma against Tulane. Look what they just did. Maybe K-State's not legit. Maybe they're all right. I think they're still fine. They got another big test this week. But I don't know, man. This very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. And understandable, but this, no.
Mm-hmm. It's going to make the Holy War fun, though, BYU-Utah, if BYU's decent.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I do agree with Jason. I mean, the Big 12 is just a cluster of teams that, you just don't know really how – I mean, you don't. How good are they? I mean, they're all kind of similar. They're just they're okay to good, I think. I mean, someone's going to separate himself. It might be Utah because of the defense, but, I mean, it is what it is. It makes it a fun league, though. It makes it a fun league. You never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. LSU wasn't that impressive against UCLA. Definitely not as impressive as Jeffrey's boys from Bloomington, but They did win 34-17, doubled them up. UCLA was ahead after the first quarter, so we're like, well, holy crap. But LSU did get their act together in the second half.
I will say that when I saw this game was tied, I was like, go UCLA. Like, number one, like, I got nothing against LSU. I don't have anything against them, but like, I know you don't like them, and I'm like, come on, UCLA. If you knock off LSU, you know how good that's gonna make Indiana look. Like, do you know how good that's gonna make Indiana look? If UCLA beat LSU, I was like, man, I was like, come on, and then LSU, and then they pull away. But they were tied at half in Death Valley. I mean, oh my goodness. Like, I couldn't believe it. I don't think LSU is a great team, though. I'm telling you, it makes USC look worse. It does. So, I mean, these teams are kind of exposing themselves.
Like LSU, they just keep getting away with it since that game. Got away with it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. I mean, Nussmeier put up big stats, but I mean, UCLA, like, Indiana destroyed them. You know, I mean, like, literally just completely destroy them. And LSU didn't. That at home, like, Indiana beat them at UCLA. Like, LSU's at home. Like, this shouldn't even have been close. I mean, LSU is favored by a spread, and they just underperformed. They underperformed the fact that they were favored by as much as they were, and I don't know. It was just disappointing. Even though they pulled away, it was still disappointing for LSU.
Louisville, the Cardinals.
Yeah, good win for Austin's Cardinals. I will say that this was an interesting game because Georgia Tech kept it close. But Louisville eventually gave way. Louisville's good. I mean, like, the thing.
Do you think they're better than last year?
That's the thing. I mean, I wouldn't say they're about the same. Like, I don't think they're worse. I mean, they're good. I mean, Louisville's good. But the problem is, like, this Notre Dame game, and we're going to get to it. But, like, you can say Louisville beats them, right? And like, oh, well, they're great. But Notre Dame, man, like, you don't know what you're going to get. We'll get to that game. That's the thing. Like, I feel like Louisville, like, we don't know what they are. I think they're and I don't even think the next game, basically my point is their next game, I don't think is going to really show how good or bad that they are. We need more evidence with Louisville. I think Louisville is either the same as last year or slightly better. They're good. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, last year, they had a really soft schedule. That's all I can say. I mean, I think they're good. Good win. They did what they were supposed to do. They were favored, and they won. So it was a good win for Louisville.
It cracks me up that their running back is the guy that fumbled it for Miami.
Yeah, that is hilarious. And we talked about that. We were talking about the portal. Yeah, it was like you're talking about you're going to bring on the guy that blew the game. But you really still can't blame him.
They won this time.
You still can't blame him, though, right? Like, it was still Cristobal's fault. You can't blame him, but yeah, he finally got to avenge his mistake against Georgia Tech.
Iowa State took care of business.
Blew him out.
Cade Klubnik, where has this Cade Klubnik been, man?
I will say that this game was one of the most jarring, like, half. And I cut out again. I saw the first half, right? And I saw Clemson was up 45-7. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, wow, right? Like, Clemson is on fire. And then I see the end of the game, and I'm like, 59-35. Like, what happened? So Clemson in the first half was on fire. Like, they played excellent. And then their defense just took their complete foot off the gas. I don't know why it did, but it did. If Clemson can get their performance that they had in the first half, they can win the ACC. They actually can win the ACC. That was impressive. And I know Tennessee bludgeoned them, but Tennessee's good. Clemson was excellent in that first half. That was the best we've seen from Clemson in years, in my opinion. I don't know if that's even a spoiler. That was one of the best performances we've seen from Clemson in years. But then that second half, you can't have that second half. That was terrible. But yeah, Cade Klubnik, you need more performances like that from him.
No.
Northern Illinois, man. Northern Illinois losing to Buffalo. Buffalo, a team that already had a loss. Like, no. Why? Oh, boy.
Who did they lose to again?
I can't even remember. Might have been someone.
They lost to Missouri.
Okay, see, it was someone good, but I guess. But still, like, this just looks bad. It just does. Like, Northern Illinois, I don't know. I just don't get it. I mean, you beat Notre Dame, and then you have this performance. I mean, it just looks awful for Northern Illinois and for Notre Dame. And the thing is, and I even told you this last week, that even if Northern Illinois went undefeated or like was good all year or whatever, I mean, Notre Dame still shouldn't have lost to them. I mean, it's just a terrible loss. It shouldn't have happened. And it needs to stop happening for Notre Dame. Because, I mean, like, literally in the last few years, if you just take out Notre Dame's bad losses and they turn those into wins, I mean, Notre Dame just looks a whole lot better. They just keep losing a game or two every year. That's just mind-blowing. Like, why? So, I mean, Northern Illinois definitely, I mean, I know why they got ranked, but this showed that they're not top 25 worthy.
Hey, this doesn't help Notre Dame either,
scraping my Bowling Green, dude. Right after Penn State scraped my Bowling Green.
Maybe Bowling Green's the best team in the MAC. I don't know.
Man, it'd be crazy if they were. They do have Connor Bazelak, the former Indiana quarterback. So, you know, Connor Bazelak might win the MAC. Oh, man. I kind of wish Bowling Green had knocked off one of them, man. That would have been funny. I know they beat Minnesota that year. Thank you, Florida. Thank you. I even tweeted it out. Thank you for – I'm telling you what, I would have lost my mind if Florida lost this game. Thank you. I'm just – okay. I don't care if Graham Mertz, Lagway, both. I don't care who they won. It doesn't matter. They just needed to win this game. Mississippi State is horrid. They are a horrible football team. I mean, the thing with Florida is that, again, they have some talent, but, I mean, they're just bad. So they have to figure out how to take some of the decent pieces and turn it into success. I don't know if that's even feasible with their schedule. Maybe they could beat Florida State with how bad they are. But, I mean, congratulations, Florida. I'm happy that you didn't let me and Will down. That's all I can say.
Graham Mertz played almost perfect, too. Good for him.
Yeah. But I think Mississippi State's defense is rough, though. That's the problem. But he did good.
You can talk about your Hoosiers here.
All right, Indiana. I just had a whole live stream talking about Indiana on the Voice of College Football if you'd like to go check that out. But Indiana – talk about the fact that they gave up 14 points in the second quarter. That was the only thing they did wrong. You know, I mean, like literally Kurt Signetti was mad about it. And that's what makes him such a good coach, right? Like he gets mad at things like that. Like they still blew the doors off of him, but he's like, we shouldn't have given up those 14. We didn't do good enough on defense. And that's what you got to love. So we got Jason saying, oh, geez. I'm not going to go too long, Jason. And appreciate you for stopping by on this hero as well. But, yeah, Indiana, it was a good win. I mean, it just showcased no letdown. Had a couple mistakes on the defensive side of the ball, but no turnovers. Indiana still doesn't have a turnover this year. Hopefully that continues against the next opponent. But they're undefeated, more wins than last year. Almost ranked. They're the 27th team. They're 2 spots out from the top 25. So another win, they might be ranked. So very impressive for Indiana. I know that their opponents have been rough, but they're taking care of business and covering the spread. So that was really impressive. They look good.
Thanks for coming in, Hummus Hero. Appreciate it.
Definitely
Maryland. This is a good sign for Jeffrey that Maryland barely beat Villanova.
I know it is, man. I know it is. Like they struggle with Villanova. I know it was more in the second half that Villanova scored, but you gotta play to the end. That's what Indiana did. Thomas saying Indiana's top 10 in basically every category. It is massively impressive. So yeah, I mean Maryland. I think they're decent. I think they're a decent team. But I mean, they lost to Michigan State. They beat
Michigan State loss really just gives. There's no benefit of the doubt if you lose to Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Ty Felton, that's their weapon. Ty Felton's a great receiver. He's good. But they just don't have a whole lot else. They got one good receiver. I mean, yeah, like you said, I think this performance does look good for IU. But we'll definitely get to that.
Carolina. 70 burger by JMU.
Dude, all I can say is I was laughing so hard at the people saying Matt Brown quit the team. He retired. I'm like, no, he didn't. But my Lord, man. What was this? Like, in a way, I can understand if this was Kurt Signetti, James Madison. But he's gone.
Bob Chesney.
Oh, my Lord. Man, this game irritated me, Will. This game irritated me. I'm like, North Carolina.
Get this off. I was watching this game, like, at the noon games. None of the noon games were that great. I'm like, what's going on here? And I just...
It was... The score... for something crazy. Yeah, it was 53-21. 53-21 at half. Like, Carolina came back somewhat. Dude, this was pathetic. The Carolina quarterback threw for 475.
He also turned it over way too much.
Oh, my goodness. All I can say, Will, is that North Carolina, they are one of the most aggravating teams that I've ever seen. I mean, you can't play like that against Minnesota. I don't care how bad Minnesota is, but you can get that win against Minnesota. You beat South Carolina last year. But you lose games like the Virginia game. You lose games like this. You had that App State game that you won 63-61. North Carolina will never be good unless their defense quits doing stuff like this. You can't do this. You can't give up. I don't care how good James Madison is. You can't give up 70 to him. It was just, yeah, like Jason said, it looked like a video game set to easy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I was frustrated with this one. I should have picked James Madison. Really, I should have.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just a complete mess of a game for Carolina.
Thing is, Omari Hampton is a talented running back too. He is, but it doesn't matter when your defense stinks and you can't take care of the ball.
2 turnovers for Criswell, and then Harold had a turnover too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this was one of the most frustrating, games, the week. Even though, I mean, I like Carolina, but I mean, it's just, even if I didn't like Carolina, it would just be still like this game. Like North Carolina should not lose this game. It's just stupid. Like Jason, I have no idea why UNC can't recruit better. The thing is, they actually recruit pretty well. It's just the fact that it don't translate, especially on defense. It just does not translate. They're, like Jackson said, the defensive staff just needs to be fired. They're horrible.
It's just crazy how James Madison only scored 13 points against Gardner-Webb FCS the week before, and then I don't know.
Yeah, it makes it look even worse. I mean, like, I don't even know what you even want to say. I mean, you should not lose a football game when you score 50. If you score 50, you should not lose. Like, especially to a team like this. I mean, it's different if you're like in the Big 12 and it's like Oklahoma State. You remember that one bedlam with Baker Mayfield where it was like 62-52? That's different. But this is James Madison in North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina was favored by 10. I mean, all I can say is people that bet the over, you did good.
Yeah.
You did good.
Bob Chesney won't be staying in Harrisonburg long either.
Probably not.
Yeah. Mike
Will
Houston
James
left.
Madison be the new App State where they continue to get coached? I don't know if you guys heard all that I cut out, but I wonder if James Madison will be the new App State, keep coaches. Like I wonder if that's the case. Like App State did it for a long time. They really did. It was a long time where they were really good until this year, it seems.
Yeah. Well, Mike Houston isn't doing that well at ECU, but Chris Ignetti certainly is doing well at I can't think at Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who was the coach before him?
James Madison?
Yeah, before Houston.
I can't think. That's a good question.
Oh, he went to Texas State and didn't do that well. Yeah. All right. On to the next one. Cincinnati beat up on Houston.
Man, that makes Oklahoma look bad, man.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oklahoma. Like, you barely beat Houston. Look at Cincinnati, man. Brendan Sorsby laying the woodshed. I mean, my Lord. I mean, that's embarrassing if you're Houston. That is embarrassing. You get shut out by Cincinnati. Cincinnati. Scott Satterfield led Cincinnati, not Luke Fickell. Boy, that's rough.
I should have picked WVU in this one, man. I don't know.
I had to go weak with these swing games. I'm like, no Jalen Daniels. I don't trust him right now. He just doesn't look good. I mean, West Virginia.
Green still didn't play well, but they won. Good job.
Yeah, he was kind of rough, but West Virginia, country roads, it carried him home barely. I mean, hey, it wasn't a bad picking Kansas. I mean, these were swing games. They could go either way.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas actually was, in a prime position to win. They gave it away. So, but I don't know what's going on with Kansas, man. I think Lance Leipold's a really good coach. But, I mean, Jalen Daniels, dude, they got to figure him out. They got to figure out how to get him playing well again. Jeff Grimes must just be garbage. That's all I can say.
Good win for the Mountaineers. We have Tulane beating Louisiana. Good job, Tulane. Bouncing back.
Gave up a lot of points, but they still won.
Army 3-0. That helps Notre Dame's schedule. There you go.
Man, I love it, man, when you do that. It just cracks me up. Like, that helps Notre Dame. Oh, that don't help Notre Dame. I love it. Yeah, Army, though, I mean, you can't beat that from the armed forces. Getting a big win over food. They didn't play with the food.
Scotty doesn't like Jeff Grimes either.
I mean, he just does not seem good at all. I mean, like, Jalen Daniels went from a very dynamic quarterback to now he blows. Like, he's terrible. I think it could be an OC thing. I just hope Jalen Daniels can get back together somehow because he was fun to watch.
I'm in number one. Kentucky bounced back, beating Ohio U.
Yeah, it's good that they didn't let the, loss to Georgia like that make them lose this one. We've seen it happen before, so they got them. That's good.
Central Michigan over Ball State. Virginia beating Coastal.
Did I pick Coastal?
I think he did. I'm not.
I can't remember for sure, but I think I did. I mean, Virginia. I mean, went for Virginia. Even though they lost to Maryland, and I wasn't high on them. I mean, Coastal. They're not as good. Coastal's been all right, but with no more Chadwell, no more McCall, they're not as good. So, they're bound to decline and lose games like this. But I think at the peak of what they were, they'd have beaten Virginia, but not this year.
Temple got a win.
Utah State's rough.
Spencer Petras still threw for a lot of yards, but lost. Eastern Michigan beat St. Francis, so that's good. That shows that they're better than Kent State, who lost to St. Francis.
Yeah, true.
Jacksonville State got off the schneid.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, were they ever gonna win? Like, Rich Rod, they're not getting it done, but they at least took care of business finally.
Nevada's doing all right.
Yeah.
And then Auburn again, man. Auburn.
I'm so glad we picked
Yeah.
Woo Pick Suey, baby. I'm like, I'm done with Auburn. I'm done with Auburn in these type of games.
Mm-hmm.
And against teams like this, you do not pick Auburn. You just don't. Against the Cows, the Arkansas, they're not gonna get it done. So I'm glad.
We've learned. We've learned.
You fool me once, shame on you, or fool me twice, shame on me, or whatever. Like, you fool me at first, but you learn.
Can't fool again.
I'm going Arkansas. No Auburn. So that was good. We did good.
Mm-hmm.
Jason O. Oh man, Auburn is bad. They are bad.
And you know what Arkansas did? They slapped those cheeks.
Yeah, they did. And Sam Pittman and Bobby Petrino, the duo, getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Southern Miss used to be good.
Yeah, they did. They used to be competitive in their conference, but man,
they have gone downhill.
Scotty B says the Pac and Mount Wesley downward schools. I can't believe that
they should just merge, man. They should just merge.
Yes, they should have. Why? I mean, the Mount West teams going to the Pac. Now the Mount West teams add teams. And you're just adding more teams to the FBS. All you had to do is just merge the Pac to the Mount West together, called it a day. But nope, we got to do it the hard way. We got to add all. It's stupid, man. It's all about two teams left in a conference. Join the Mountain West. But no, these teams in a bigger conference are going to join the – it's dumb. It is so freaking dumb. College football is just insane at this point. It's just insane. Ah, my Lord, man. The Pac should have just died.
UMass won a game. Let's go UMass. Barely beating Central Connecticut. But they got to win, even though it's to a bottom feeder FCS school.
Yeah, congratulations to UMass, but that's still kind of embarrassing though. They got the win, so good job. And they got a running back with the last name John, so there you go. That's good.
Pitt, Village in Youngstown.
Yeah,
Arizona State, man. I'm disappointed.
This was the swing game we got wrong. Oh man, I was like Arizona State. They're better, and they still are. But Tech, after what Tech did against Abilene, I'm like, I don't know. I thought Arizona State would win, but
bummer. Navy. This also helps Notre Dame's schedule. Navy beating Memphis.
FSU looks so good.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, man, think about it, man. Navy put up 56 on Memphis. Florida State, terrible. That is terrible, man. Florida State couldn't put up anything on Memphis. The Navy just puts up 56.
Pitt could be ACC good. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe they can win 8 or 9 games. Maybe it'll be like the return of Narduzzi getting Pitt to, 8 wins like he always used to do.
Yeah, Memphis ain't making it, Scotty.
No, neither is Northern Illinois. Jason says, keep FSU out of your mouth, Jeffrey. I'm trying. We'll talk about a win, though. We're going to be talking about a win for Florida State coming up, so that's good.
Duke, they've kind of had a weak schedule, but they've won their games.
Yeah, Well, I mean, Northwestern. I think Northwestern's bad.
Yeah.
I think they're bad. I mean, they might be along with UCLA and Purdue at the bottom of the Big Ten this year. I mean, they're not good, and Duke should have lost. They should have lost.
Yeah.
So I don't think Duke's great, but hey,
Duke might be the BC of this year.
I wouldn't be surprised if they beat their rival this week because of how garbage they are.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, SMU putting it on TCU.
We got the skillet wrong, man. We got the skill. We did pick TCU, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. SMU, I mean, they didn't look good this season, and they finally woke up. I mean, Hoover threw for a lot, the quarterback for TCU, but yeah, I don't know. SMU just better. Good win.
Thanks for coming on, Dave.
Yeah, appreciate you for coming on, Dave Brown. I would have pulled up your comment earlier, but Will's got it.
Oh, about Brett Favre? Oh,
yeah,
no one lightly. Yeah.
Yeah, I always. So he said Sonny Dice got ejected.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to look up.
Yeah, I did not remember. I mean, I might have saw that now that I think about it, but it's not something I remembered. Yeah, well, Scotty B says TCU could not run the ball or defend. Well, they definitely could not defend. They gave up 66, so that's crazy. Dave says every one of my future opponents won last week. You're a Louisville fan, if I remember. So yeah, that's crazy on that. Strength of schedule, yeah, that's gonna help with the playoff for sure.
Oh, I got it. Plug in.
Definitely gonna help with the playoffs since you can actually, lose a game or two and maybe still get in. But it's harder in the ACC though.
Oh, FIU losing to Monmouth.
Yeah, that was shocking. I saw some people like, whoa, Florida National loss, so that doesn't look good for Indiana. Everything's looked good for Indiana for the most part, so this is an oversight. Okay, it is what it is.
Liberty beating ECU, bombing for ECU.
ECU was competitive. They were competitive, but they blew it in the fourth. Come on, they were winning.
I was disappointed because our family that was ECU fans. They were bummed.
Yeah, I was hoping ECU would win. It is what it is. They're just
but they were happy that Carolina lost, so that was good enough for them, I guess. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I know that are ECU fans and Carolina fans. I can't believe they don't.
Well, they're like people that go to Carolina act like they're better than everyone.
Well, I get it. It's a hierarchy thing with academics. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Oof, Northwestern losing.
See what I'm saying, man? Northwestern's not good. They're not good, man.
Washington coming off
really
of the Apple Cup loss, put it on them.
Will Rogers was efficient. He was pretty good. Yeah, Jason says ECU has a lot of fans. They do. It's an underrated environment. It's just not a good team right
now. IU paid what about it? Okay, Jeffrey, what the heck happened? I know about this.
Tom Allen in Indiana had a 3-game series with Louisville from 2023 to 2025. They played the first game, and then after Indiana barely lost on the neutral site to Louisville, they were like, we're not playing the last 2 games. We're not playing the last 2 games. We're opting out of it. It worked out for both Louisville and Indiana. They're getting wins. It's all good. I mean, right? Like, non-conference games don't mean nothing anymore. They don't matter. Like, it's no big deal. Get more wins. I mean, I get it. It looks bad optically. I get it. Indiana scared to play Louisville, but ironically, it would have been a good game this year.
Yeah, it would have been.
It would have been a good game. Louisville still could have won, maybe, but it would have been a good game. But I mean, Cignetti wouldn't have opted out of it, I'm sure. But it was before.
That's so weak by Tom Allen.
He was trying to save his job, man. He was trying to save his job, and it didn't work. Oh boy.
Oh, man.
I mean, like I said, I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb. You know, I would have rather them play the game since it was scheduled, but it did work out for both Indiana and Louisville in the end, to me. But Tom Allen, you know, it was his last ditch attempt to save his job, and it massively failed.
Yeah. UConn, there you go, UConn.
Florida Atlantic, man, like,
Oof.
oh my, and they were
Tom
competitive with
Herman.
Michigan State. They were competitive with Michigan State. I mean, it was week 1, but still, like, what in the world is going on? I mean, UConn must have went for them, but I mean, that's just pathetic by Florida Atlantic. They missed Lane Kiffin. That's all I can say.
I got it wrong with Cal.
Congratulations, Jason. Florida State getting a win. You know, I mean, I thought Cal would do it. I thought
Cal would do it too.
do it. And they had the game, Will. They had the game until they gave up the touchdown in the fourth. The game was 9-7. They had the game. So, I mean, still for Florida State, though, I mean, this just looks terrible. I mean, oh, boy. They should be 4-0. Florida State should be 4-0. Instead, they're 1-3. I mean, I know that all 4 of the opponents that they played were not garbage. But still, you know, it's just irritating for Florida State fans that they're this bad after having the season that they had. The way it ended last year. You wanted to have a decent season, like a good year, 9-3, whatever. Rough. Just absolutely rough. At least they got a win, but man, they're just...
Jason, what's your FSU connection as someone that lived in upstate New York? I'm generally curious about that.
That's a good question.
But Mendoza had a good game too, man.
Yeah, 300
I mean, he did throw a pick, but
Troy finally won.
Mm-hmm.
Toledo. Oh, Mississippi State, man. Mississippi State. Toledo losing to Western Kentucky after beating Mississippi State. Man, the Bulldogs are garbage. That's all I can say. They're garbage. I hate it so much for Mississippi State fans, Mike Leach and all. I hate it so much. I'm not really trying to trash on them because I hate it, but Wyoming's garbage too.
Mm-hmm. Iowa got the pig back.
Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't think about picking Minnesota. You know, I'm like Iowa. I mean, they usually win this game. They usually beat Minnesota, and they did. So, Jason says I'm just a fan. My mom's family from Tallahassee, but overall, I just became a fan when I was in middle school. Yeah, I mean, hey, it happens. I mean, like I've been an Alabama fan since I was a kid because my family, but I live in North Carolina, so I like North Carolina, and then Indiana. You know. No one gives love to the Hoosiers, so I don't know. It's weird. College football is a weird thing. It's weird.
Yeah, family for Notre Dame, too.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, I got to be an Alabama fan. Everybody in my family loves Alabama. I mean, if you don't like Alabama and a family that all loves Alabama, it's sacrilegious, you know? I love the Crimson Tide. I mean, I watched since I was a kid, so, you know.
But PJ Fleck, is he actually going to get fired this season?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, hey, you got to admit, Will. I know when I was on the Voice of College Football with Mark, and I know you said Mark loves PJ Fleck, but I was kind of ragging on Fleck. I'm telling you, he's not doing as well as he used to do. He's on the downward slide, man. I mean, that game, the opening game that they had, he just blew. I mean, he just absolutely blew. His play calling was terrible. You know,
both teams are not. We've learned both teams are not great, unfortunately.
North Carolina, I mean, he should have beat them. I mean, he should have won the game. I mean, I'm glad North Carolina won, you know, because I like North Carolina. But like I said, like Minnesota should have won the game, and his play calling was trash. I'm just saying. I think PJ Fleck is, I don't know, I think he's just going in the wrong direction. And
who do you fire though? Like, there's no like MAC coach that's just murdering the MAC like Fleck was doing.
Handle, I mean, it's probably the best bet. Toledo.
I mean, maybe maybe they go for Bob Chesney at JMU. They also go for a JMU coach. I don't know, man. It'll be interesting.
I mean, I understand what Fleck's done. I get what Fleck's done, and I know it's a tough place to win at, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not impressed with what he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I thought. Well, you said you're driving up to Syracuse. That's why I thought. But I guess Jersey's a weird state. I mean, I always think of Jersey as being close to New York City, but there's North Jersey. That's different. Yeah.
All I know is there's people from all the country that like teams, and I think like it doesn't matter where you're from, in my opinion. I mean, like I don't live in Alabama, but I'm a fan. I don't live in Indiana, but I'm a fan. You know, I mean. And a lot of people like multiple teams. I mean, if I had to say who my college team is, it would be Alabama. But I like other teams too, So, I mean, it's just college football, it's a fun sport. I think, it doesn't matter where you're from, especially if you have family history.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do well after 2019, but, I mean, still, even after 2021, I thought he would do all right.
I mean, I understand not firing him. I get it. I do. But he just isn't winning at all. Like, it's been rough. It's been terrible. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know.
Boston, this was a good little game. Boston College over Michigan State.
That's not a good game for Aiden Childs. Aiden Childs' interceptions is why they lost.
Yeah.
Kept turning it over. He's not a great passer, man. I mean, he sits back there and he just looks wrong throwing the ball. He is not a good passer right now. Is he talented? Yeah, but his passing is all over the place. So if Jonathan Smith can get that under control and get him to make less mistakes passing the ball, then they could be decent. But he's very turnover prone. BC escaped with this one. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say. Good game, though.
Mm-hmm.
Will, you talk about disappointment, right? You know that disappointment. North Carolina was disappointing. K-State was disappointing. Baylor was disappointing.
Baylor, come on.
You had the game. I was like 31-24. I'm like, Baylor's got this. They're going to win the game. And then I see overtime, Colorado wins. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
I turned the game on at the end. And as soon as I turned it on,
and here we go. Austin, do you believe now? It's prime time, baby. Let's go. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. You have got to be kidding me. That's great. Congratulations, Colorado. Cool. It's just cool. Cool, you got to win, man. I mean, I don't know. I was just disappointed at Baylor. They had the game, man. They had it. It'd be different if they got destroyed, but they had it. They blew it. They gave it away. Oh, boy. I mean, now the Colorado hype, just people are like, oh, they're good and all, but Scotty B says they still don't make the bowl.
It just shows that the old Pac-12 was better than the new Big 12 because they wouldn't have won that type of game in the Pac.
Jason says Colorado winning games really hurt people. The thing is, Jason, I don't want it to hurt me. I'm not trying to let it hurt me. It's just the Colorado hype was nauseating. It was. Deion is controversial. I mean, I like Deion as a player, as a coach. He's all right at times, but other times, no. It's just, I don't know. I mean, the hype was frustrating. It really was. Like, Curt Cignetti is doing an elite job in Indiana so far. And how much hype is Indiana getting? Realistically, how much hype is Indiana getting? Not much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Colorado got the hype before the tenure started for Deion because it's Deion. And that's trash. That's not fair. That's garbage. It's all about media and it's clicks. That's all it's about. Mm-hmm. That's the only
and
reason.
He's going to leave after this season. He is not staying there.
Like literally, like I have absolutely nothing against Deion Sanders. I like Deion Sanders, but the hype was just garbage. I understand what your point, Jason. People hating Deion Sanders. Like I don't hate Deion Sanders at all, but it was the media. I mean, they were hyping up every single game Colorado had, especially at the beginning of the season last year. It was just insane. That was what irritated me. I think you should hype teams up that are legitimately deserving of it if you're going to do that. And I try not to hype teams up beyond reason at all. I don't even do that with Indiana or Alabama or anybody, but I just felt like the Colorado hype by the media was just ridiculous. It was overly done. Mm-hmm. And if Deion wasn't there, I mean, any coach could have been there besides Deion or, someone big like Urban Meyer or, something crazy. Like no one's gonna hype up Colorado. How much did they talk about Colorado when Mel Tucker was there for that year? Never. They didn't say jack about Colorado. It's just because it was Deion. It just, I don't know. It just got annoying. And the fact that, I mean, like, just some of the comments that are, like I said, Deion is fine, but it's just, the aura of it is just problematic. That's the problem with Colorado. It's like you're masquerading as a great team because of the media and Deion and his son, but you're not. I don't know. It's broken. Colorado is just a broken thing right now. That's all you can say. Mm-hmm. I don't hate them. It's just frustrating. It's really hard to explain. Yeah, the media, I don't watch the media, Jason. I honestly don't. Like, I don't watch basically nobody. It's just the thing is the fact that, like, the TV would, like, Colorado State got 10 million views for that game, right? And, like, it was a good game. It was close and all that. But, like, if Deion wasn't there, it would only got, like, 1 million views. Like, people just watching Colorado because of Deion. It doesn't even make sense. Like, no one cared about Colorado.
It's just like he doesn't treat other teams with respect at all.
Yeah, and Jason's like, saying I hate him. I swear I don't hate him. It's just a overarching. You get what I'm trying to get at, Will. You understand what I'm saying. Yeah. But I don't know.
Oregon State beat Purdue. Good job, Oregon State.
Yeah, Purdue is Purdue's not good, unfortunately. I hate it, Michael. I swear though, if Indiana has a winning record, kind of like that year, you remember the year they were 7-4, Purdue was 4-7 with Peyton Ramsey in double overtime. Literally, I swear to you, man. Like if Purdue's like 3-8 and Indiana's like 8-3 or 7-4 or 6-5, and the game goes down to the wire, like Indiana needs to just beat Purdue, right? They need to just beat Purdue. Indiana hasn't beaten Purdue easily in like 10 years. The one time they won, it was a 3-score game in double overtime when they were like a 10-point favorite. Like Indiana just beat Purdue because Purdue's not good this year. That's all I can say. Appreciate your banner, Buckeyes battle cry as well. I don't think we've shouted you out yet, but appreciate that. And Jason said 100 of this hype always starts with I don't have anything against Deion, but I love it.
I don't know. I feel like Deion's just doing this as a publicity thing, and that it doesn't actually care about the program. That's the main issue I have.
Thing is, he was more likable at Jackson State.
He was.
He was more like at Jackson State. That's the thing. When he was at Jackson State, I was actually rooting for Deion. And now that he's at Colorado, I'm not rooting against him, but I'm not really rooting for him. It's just a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the word vibe, but it is a different vibe. When he was at Jackson State, it felt like an underdog story. At Colorado, it feels like a publicity stunt. It's not the same thing. It just does not feel like the same thing. I liked it in Jackson State better. I did. It didn't feel the same way. I agree with you. Great point.
Army, Temple. Army hopefully keeps it going.
You weren't rooting for Jackson State. I'm saying I liked him better at Jackson State. That's what I'm saying. Jason's funny. Yeah, Thursday night football, Army, Temple. Yeah, Army's going to win. Army's going to win. Temple's not good. If I would be shocked if Army lost. Army 31-14.
I'll go 28-7. And then we got the Hokies heading to Miami. Could this be this? This is a classic game Miami would blow, but they'll probably win.
Yeah, I've seen some people say it, man. Is this the game Miami's gonna choke, right? Like they've been so good so far, but are they finally gonna blow it against Virginia Tech, a team that's not bad, but they have lost 2 games that they are like Virginia Tech could be 4-0. And if they were 4-0 right now, this game would have a lot more hype. We've been talking a lot about hype recently. So Virginia Tech, they've disappointed with the 2 losses. I still don't trust Miami completely and fully, but I will go with Miami to win 35-20. I just don't think Virginia Tech's good enough.
You stole my score. Okay, I'll go 38-17.
You literally had 35-20. Oh, man, that's funny.
And then we got Washington and Rutgers. Now, this is a fun game. Also a Friday night.
Yeah, we got the Big Ten game on Fox on Friday night. Not a bad game. I mean, Washington 3-1, Rutgers 3-0. It'd be a little bit better if Washington hadn't lost to Washington State and they were still undefeated. But I picked Rutgers against Virginia Tech, and they pulled through. Do I do it again? Problem is, I think Will Rogers is good. I like Will Rogers, but Washington's just not that great.
They're not the same.
No, they're not the same. I mean, no Penix, no Romadunze, no Kalen DeBoer. It's just not as good. I'm actually going to go with Rutgers again. I think Rutgers wins 28-24.
You said 28-24? I'll go 27-24. Rutgers.
Yeah, and Washington's having to travel all the way to New Jersey, too. Not easy.
And then we got Notre Dame in Louisville on Peacock. Irish are 6-point favorite.
This game should not be on Peacock. This game should be on.
I hate it. I hate how it's only on Peacock.
It's insane. One of your only top 25 matchups of the weekend, and it's on Peacock. It's just dumb.
All right.
I don't know what to do here, Will. I really don't, because I still don't trust Notre Dame. I don't trust Notre Dame. I don't, because of what they did to me. Northern Illinois, you let me down, and then the Purdue game. I mean, if Notre Dame plays like they did against Purdue, or even the A&M game, they win. They win this game. But Louisville beat them last year, like badly. I mean, oh my Lord.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to show it. Because,
yeah, I'm not. I don't want
Jeffrey to get demonetized.
Yeah, thanks, man. I don't know how that works. Oh boy.
Now, I'm confident in this Irish defense, but I'm worried it's going to get tired. I mean, I do think that the Irish should play well because of the motivation from last season.
That's true. That's a key fact.
So I'm going to lean with my Irish to win this game. I'll go 27-17 Irish.
I had a feeling you go with Notre Dame. What do I do? I'm guessing Dave Brown's picking Louisville 28-21. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the read I'm getting here. I don't think he's going Notre Dame. I just thought he just leaves it 28-21. I mean, the thing is that Notre Dame is the more talented team. And it's at Notre Dame. The crowd's going to be intense. I mean,
the thing is, Jeffrey, this is what I hate. The crowd's never intense on day games at Notre Dame. It's so annoying. There's not that much of a home field advantage.
Why?
Because the ushers are like, you can't be too loud. You can't stand up. It's so annoying.
What?
Yeah.
Are you what you trying to tell me that they tell them they can't stand up?
Yes. They're strict about that.
Why do
Unless it's a
people like
night
Notre
game.
Dame? Why do people
Unless
like Notre Dame again?
Hmm?
Why are so many people fans of Notre Dame if you can't even stand up at the game? What?
It's a family thing.
You've blown my mind, Will. I've never heard of this.
I think it's a thing at Ohio State and Michigan too, from what I've heard.
Are you serious
But
right
during
now?
night games, I think it's different.
Hey, Troy V, appreciate you for stopping by. This ushers. No, those are old school nuns with extra long rulers. I don't know, Will. I've never heard of this. You see, you're telling me at night they let them do whatever.
Yeah.
That's dumb, man. That is dumb. I don't get that. I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't agree. I mean, that's dumb. That really changes my mind about these stadiums. I didn't know that was a thing at Michigan either.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. I think that's insane. That's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still think Notre Dame's environment, whatever you want to call it, the usher-led, can't stand crowd
That's
thing.
what people call the people that complain about it wine and cheese fans that are aren't allowed.
Yeah. Well, Notre Dame, I mean, Louisville's still going on the road. Notre Dame beat them last year. Or not Notre Dame beat them. Notre Dame blew it last year. Well, I think that the revenge is going to be key. Because Notre Dame should have won. I mean, Notre Dame should have beat Louisville last year. They were better than them last year, but they choked. They just choked. It was a tough portion of the schedule, and they just sucked in that game. They blew it. Louisville beat them easily. I don't see that happening. If Louisville beats them, it's going to be close. It's going to be like a one-score game. I don't think Louisville just destroys them like they did last year. I don't care about the crowd. I just screw the crowd. I think Notre Dame, regardless of the crowd and their dumb antics, they're going to beat Louisville 31-24. I'm going to back your Irish, Will. I still cannot believe you told me this. I've never heard of that in my life. I guess I don't know that much about Notre Dame. But regardless of that, I think Riley Leonard, even if he doesn't have a lot through the air, I think Notre Dame's going to be able to run the football. And as long as Notre Dame can prevent Louisville's offense from destroying them like they did last year, I think Notre Dame will get the win.
I want to show you this.
I've never heard of that. I'm just so dumbfounded right now. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. What's the point of a home environment if you don't allow the fans to do their thing? I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
NBC broadcast, and there's people in the stands that look like us. They have blue jeans on or whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about, John. Yep. And some of that reflected like Holtz's background. And then at a certain point in time, like Notre Dame flipped the script, and then like overnight they became holier than thou. Yep. It was very much like thumbing the nose at people. It became wine and cheese, which fit.
Kind of bougie, and I hated it.
Same. Yeah. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget. I'm a true freshman. I forget what game it was. It was cold. And I was like, waving the towel, trying to get the crowd up. I will never forget it, John. It's burned into my brain. You know the yellow seats, the expensive, where it's an actual fold-down yellow seat?
Oh, yeah.
There was a woman, older woman in a full fur coat, mink, whatever, looking dead ass, eye to eye. And I was like, yeah. She looked at me like, what the f*** is wrong with this kid? NBC broadcast, and there's people in the stands that look like us. They have blue jeans on or whatever. You know exactly.
I don't understand this. I mean, why is this a thing, Will? Why is your team like this? Jason saying people say UNC. I mean, I've never heard
UNC
of this.
and UVA are wine and cheese schools for sure.
I don't know if I'll ever think of college football the same way again. This is messed up. This is messed up. I don't get it. You're gonna dictate that they can't stand. You can't stand. What in the world, man? I mean, Oh my gosh. No wonder some of these environments are kind of mid, right? Like, I don't get it. That's dumb, man. You got to let the fans be the fans. Tortillas, caviar,
Perrier.
Oh
That's
my
good.
Lord. Hey, at least I knew it was Perrier. At least I pronounced it right, even though I'm not wine and cheese, man. Oh my goodness. You're not wine and cheese, are you, Will?
No, I'm not. I stood the whole game for both the Clemson and USC games.
There you go. There you go. Hey, when I go to games, I stand. I don't care. I don't care. That's nuts. That is just nuts.
All right, Kentucky and Ole Miss. We'll skip Ole Miss big.
Oh, yeah, Ole Miss, Kentucky's going to get blown out.
Michigan
I'll go Ole
big
Miss
over
42-10. Yeah, only favored by 9. I'm shocked at that. You think it'd be favored by a little more after beating USC. I Troy's is most days, but that's history to get louder at Notre Dame. They have remain seated signs like on an airplane. On an airplane. Oh my goodness, man. This is insane. So you think Minnesota has a better chance to beat Michigan than Kentucky has to beat Ole Miss? I would say. I think Minnesota.
I think it's about the same.
I think Minnesota's a better shot, but both should be blowouts, especially Ole Miss.
And then Oklahoma State.
This is the game right here. Oklahoma State at Kansas State. Interesting game because Kansas State coming off that insanely bad performance against BYU. And then Oklahoma State basically a trash performance against Utah until the fourth quarter when they woke up. I don't know, man. This is an interesting Big 12 game. I don't even know who to pick here.
This is a tough one, Jeffrey.
Look at Scotty B saying BYU is 2-12 on the last 14-day football games. So they're better at night.
Yeah.
They're better at night.
Look at that spread. Look at that spread, Jeffrey.
Oh, Baylor favored over BYU. Oh, my Lord. So this is how wacky the Big 12 is, right? Oklahoma State is ranked over K-State, but K-State favored by 4.5. BYU ranked. Baylor's 2-2, and Baylor's favored by 3. The Big 12 is wacky. I mean, with K-State, Oklahoma State, I mean, I don't know who's the better team. I really don't. I mean, based off the evidence that we have seen from both squads, I mean, they're inconsistent at best. I mean, Alan Bowman, he's a solid quarterback, but he's turnover prone. Avery Johnson can play, but he didn't play good last week. But, I mean, they are back at home, and they do have good fans. I don't know if they have any wine and cheese going on there either, like some of these other places. But, I mean, literally. Now, I'm going to be saying this now all the time, Will. Literally. I'm going to be saying this all the time now. Like, when we're talking about fans, do they have the wine and cheese going on? I mean, I don't know. Like, K-State, do they allow them to stand? I mean, I'm going to be watching for this now. I've never really paid attention. I think Kansas State's going to get it done. I think at home, they sucked last week. I think Chris Kleiman's going to get after them. They'll find a way to knock off Oklahoma State 31-27.
Oh, my gosh. I remember Golden Blue, dude. God bless his soul. I remember he gave me a hard time about it too, and I was like, "Well, you know, they want it to be a family environment and stuff like that." Oh, so it's like Kansas State, Bill Snyder Family Stadium. That's what he told me.
It does have family in the name, so maybe they don't let them stand either.
I'll go. I don't know, man. I'll go. Oklahoma State's offense looks so bad. But Kansas State turned it over. Avery Johnson had a horrible game. I'll go 28-27 K-State. I have no faith in them, but
yeah, no faith in the pick, man. I just sometimes when I don't know, I just go home field. I don't like doing that, but going K-State. Then we got BYU Baylor. I mean, Scotty in the chat. I know he's hoping Baylor can get a win. Scotty says you don't have to worry about that at Baylor. Atmosphere's not like that. Good to know. Good to know. I'm going to got my quest is to find out which schools have dumb policies and which ones just let their fans be.
And which ones fans just don't care.
Yeah. So
there's a middle ground too.
Yeah, middle ground. That's a good point. I will say that this is weird though to see a ranked team playing a 2-2 squad and they're an underdog. That doesn't happen very often. Are you shocked BYU's not favored?
I mean, it's the Big 12. I'm still a little surprised.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm kind of 50-50. I think I'm gonna go BYU. I don't trust them, but I
don't trust Baylor after giving up that Hail Mary.
I'll go BYU 27-21.
I'll go 28-24 BYU.
The Big 12 is the hardest conference to predict.
I'm sorry, Scotty, but I can't trust your team after they did me dirty like that.
Yeah, they did. They should have beat Colorado, man.
That's good.
UCLA made sure they tie down the tarps. They don't make too much noise when it's windy. Yeah, man, they don't have any fans. Their fans are horrible. Oh, my goodness. What a burn. So then we got Maryland, Indiana. Solid game of the Big Ten.
I thought this game was at Maryland. Oh, okay.
Solid game of the Big Ten Network.
I'm pretty firmly picking IU now.
Indiana favored by 7. Look at that spread. How often do you see Indiana favored by 7 in a Big Ten game? That don't happen. So we got Jason, though, going Maryland 28. Indiana 17. So we got Jason going with Maryland. I think Indiana. Yeah, Cheeks Diana, man. What in the world? Like, come on, man. Maryland and Cheeks Diana. I think Indiana has just looked too good so far this season. I trust Signetti already enough with Indiana's offense. It just looks better than Maryland. That I think Indiana will win 31-20.
Yeah, I'll go 34-28. Indiana.
So you going with the Maryland cover?
Wait, what was it? I thought Maryland cover, I guess.
Yeah, 34-28, a Maryland cover. All right.
Nebraska should beat Purdue. If they don't, then it's Scott Frost.
If Nebraska loses to Purdue, then they are still garbage.
Yeah.
Absolutely garbage. So I'm going to trust Rayola. I think Nebraska's good enough with how bad Purdue's been.
I'll go 41-17 Nebraska.
I'll go 35-17.
How now UConn's favorite against Buffalo?
Man, it's just getting worse and worse for Notre Dame, man.
Oh, no.
You picking UConn?
I don't know, man. I didn't watch any of the Buffalo NIU game.
I don't think anybody did.
Oh, man. All right.
You're not even picking it.
I'm refusing. Here we go. Northern Illinois.
But you're going to pick this one. You're not going to pick UConn, but you're going to pick Northern Illinois and NC State. Okay.
This is
NC State's look bad.
I'm going to NIU to win 28-21.
Will's just trying to take some of the sheer off that Northern Illinois loss. You know what? Screw it. I'll go, even though it's the CW, I'll go NC State 28-24. I'll go with NC State. I just Northern Illinois, man, you lost to Buffalo. Come on.
All right. This is a fun little game. South Florida, Tulane.
Yeah. Tulane favored by. They're not that good, but their favorite's still about 6.5. I'll take Tulane.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'll roll the dice and go with South Florida.
All right, this is the part of the show where we start picking differently on every game. I love it.
I'll go 34-31 Tulane. I mean South Florida. Yeah, just for fun.
I love how Will still got on screen Cheeks Diana.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Wisconsin and USC on CBS. I'm not seeing this one being close, man. Are you?
I don't know, man. You know, I do have a feeling in my gut that this game will be interesting because it's the Alex Grinch revenge game. Alex Grinch is on the staff at Wisconsin.
True. But Wisconsin did look bad.
They did look bad.
And they don't have Tyler Van Dimes, man. They don't have Van Dimes. That's the problem. They got – I forgot his name. He's not that good, though.
I can't pull it. I'm going to look it up. Braden Locke.
I remember his name. I just couldn't think for a sec. Braden Locke, he's not that good. I mean, USC is kind of looking a little bit mid after losing to Michigan. The LSU win's not looking as impressive. But I think Wisconsin's offense is just that bad. So I'm going to go with USC to get the win, 31-17.
Mm-hmm. Wisconsin fans travel well, so there'll probably be some there. But I think SC will win. I'll go SC 38-17.
Mm.
And then we have a stinker of a game here between Oklahoma and Auburn.
Look at Scotty B saying Oklahoma at Auburn is interesting. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's morbidly interesting.
Yeah, morbidly is the right word. Oklahoma favored by 2.5. I mean, do you trust Oklahoma after what you saw against Tennessee?
I'll trust Oklahoma's defense to win 17-3 over Auburn.
Dude, Oklahoma barely beat Houston, but Auburn lost to Cal and Arkansas. I mean, Oklahoma's ranked, though. You think Auburn will try because they're ranked? You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to stick with my score, but you're right. You may be right.
You see what I'm saying, though? Auburn technically, you know, in bigger games, which I guess is plays harder. I'm going to go with Oklahoma 21-17. I almost rolled the dice with Auburn, but I think Oklahoma will win.
I think it was yesterday, Scotty B, that Oklahoma changed their quarterback.
Yeah, they're going with Hawkins instead of Jackson Arnold, which I really don't know what to think about that. But, I mean, Auburn does tend to show up more in bigger games. They have looked really bad. If they win, though, it's just a typical Auburn thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's another weird game, dude.
Arkansas A&M at Jerry's World, as it is every year.
What do you think, man? What do you think here? Arkansas got a win against Auburn. Texas A&M looking like trash against Bowling Green.
I have a bad feeling about this game for Notre Dame.
It's always about Notre Dame. Like, screw A&M. It's all about Notre Dame. You're still thinking about Notre Dame. You know what? Arkansas did good for me last week. I'm going to go Arkansas again. I'll go Arkansas 28-21.
The defensive backs at A&M need to show up in this game, man.
Why is A&M ranked? Absolutely, Jason.
Because of the brand.
Yeah, Indiana should be ranked instead of A&M. But it's the brand, yeah.
I don't know. I have a strong feeling that Arkansas is going to win this game for whatever reason.
Me too.
So I'll stick with you. I'll go 31.
I felt the same way with Auburn, but I didn't pull the trigger with Auburn.
I'll go 31-28 Razorbacks. Yeah, UNLV and Indiana. I agree, Scotty should be ranked ahead of A&M.
Absolutely.
I couldn't believe they ranked A&M after that Florida game.
It's insane. Why are they ranked? Like, why?
I don't know.
Just
What a
sick.
stinker of a game that is. UMass Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio minus 18.
The 0-3 team's favored by 18. Oh, my Lord. Oh, we're going Miami, Ohio.
Yeah.
Man, Wake Forest only favored by 3 over Louisiana Lafayette. That's ugly.
That's ugly. We have TCU at Kansas and Arrowhead. Because Kansas is renovating their stadium. This is a stinker of a game right here.
Josh Hoover's looked a lot better than Jalen Daniels. I'm going
there's going to be a lot of empty
31-24.
I think there's going to be a lot of empty seats at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Like, well, that many people show up to an NFL stadium for this game?
I don't think so. I'm going TCU 31-24.
I think that hurts them that it's at Arrowhead.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to pick TCU as well, although they've been also sucked.
Hoover's been good, though. He's the bright spot. Their defense isn't. Look at his stats on offense. Yeah. Jalen Daniels has been struggling. Unless he turns it around. I can see him turning it around, but he hasn't yet.
I'll go 42-24. And then we have Colorado UCF.
Oh, boy.
At the Bounce House.
I'm going UCF, man. I'm going UCF 28-20.
28-20? I think there's going to be a higher score than that. I'll go 38-17 UCF.
Yeah, they might score more than that. You could be right. UCF tends to like the blow games like this, though.
I mean, it's Dion, though. They're going to be like all in. And
yeah, true.
Even though they have Florida next week. Man, Florida's going to lose that game too, man. Do you see?
They should.
This is a
Liberty
fun
App
game.
State is interesting.
Liberty App State.
I think Liberty will get the road win.
Liberty will probably win. Fresno UNLV is a fun game.
If UNLV wins this game, they could be ranked.
Who did Fresno lose to?
I can't remember.
I thought they played Michigan last year, but they said they lost to Michigan. I just got mixed up.
Oh, yeah, they did lose to Michigan this year. That was the game. I remember that now. They hung with them for a while. Barry Odom's done good. I'll back UNLV. I'll go 28-21.
I'll go 24-21. UNLV. Carolina Duke.
North Carolina and Duke on ESPN2. Oh, my Lord. Duke fade. Though, North Carolina typically beats Duke, though. They normally beat Duke. That's the thing. I mean, I don't trust North Carolina after that garbage of a game. Look at that spread of 55, or the total, I mean. The total is 55 after North Carolina and James Madison was 120. That's funny. I mean, Grant, Duke doesn't score as many points in games as, James Madison. But I don't know. Carolina's defense is so bad. I mean, I think the game last year, didn't it get into the 40s? So, yeah, I think the over's the bet here. Defeated, but they haven't been that good. And they barely beat Northwestern, who's really bad. I don't trust North Carolina, and I'm still mad at that garbage performance last week. But I think Carolina will beat Duke 38-35.
I can't see Carolina winning after last week. Maybe they turn it around, but I
They
can't see it,
usually
man.
beat Duke. That's the only reason I'm picking them.
I just don't think their talent will be that big of a factor because of how bad they've played. I'll go Duke to win. I'll go 42-27.
Yeah,
I'm
if
picking
Carolina
Duke.
loses, though, it's going to be hard for me to pick them again.
Yeah. Texas should bludgeon Mississippi State.
Yeah,
Bowling Green,
I don't think
Miami.
that game's going to be close at all.
I don't think Michigan State will keep it close against Ohio
See, that's a
State.
game that you should put on Peacock.
We have Stanford, Clemson. Do you want to pick Stanford? I don't know if I want to pick Stanford.
Clemson, big. These games aren't that good.
These games stink.
Iowa State, big. None of them are interesting. None of them are going to be close.
Yeah,
There we go. Georgia and Alabama. And Georgia favored by 2 points. This is the game. Forget all those other games. None of those games matter. Throw them out the door. I normally don't like doing that because sometimes other games can be good, but no, none of those games are interesting. This is the game. This is the primetime ABC massive matchup. And Alabama usually beats Georgia. But like Will said, Georgia's won at Alabama 2 of the last 3 times. But Alabama typically beats them. In the SEC championship game, they've beaten them. In the national championship game, they've beaten them. They've beaten them when it matters. So that's the thing that concerns me. Because when this game doesn't matter as much, regular season, Georgia maybe will win. But the thing is Alabama, though, usually beats them for the most part. Jalen Milroe can't turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
Has to keep control of the ball, run the ball. When he throws the ball, keep it in safe hands. Do not turn it over. Just don't do that. As long as he doesn't turn it over, that will help tremendously. Bama can run the ball. They've been running the ball okay. And I will team. So Alabama might be able to run somewhat in this game. If Alabama can run the ball in this game, that will be able to help out Milroe a lot. Mm-hmm. Carson Beck, this is a big test for Beck. Is he good? Is he legit? Like, do people really think he's a fantastic quarterback? I don't know what to really make of him. I think he's fine. I don't know what your thoughts are on him.
I feel like Beck only looks good because he has so much talent around him.
Kind of like Bennett, Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
Same thing. I agree. I don't think he's fine. He does the job. But, Georgia almost lost to Kentucky. I understand, that they've done this before against Missouri, Kent State, Auburn, all that kind of stuff that I've mentioned before. Ron Williams is good. Ron Williams he's explosive. Can Georgia stop him? I don't even know if they have anybody that can stop him. He's young, man. He's only got 10 receptions, but he's a touchdown machine. I'm going Bama. Maybe it's bias. It could be oversight. I don't know. Because I picked Georgia to beat Alabama in the SEC championship game last year, and Bama won. I don't know. I could be wrong this time. I could pick Bama, and then Georgia wins this time. But I'm going to go with Alabama at home. Bryant Denny, that environment. Milroe, as long as he doesn't turn it over. Alabama's going to win 28-24.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Jeffrey. I think Bama will win. Milroe makes me nervous, but he's played well, although Bama really hasn't played anyone. Sorry, Wisconsin, but I just think that Milroe's looked better than Beck so far.
I agree.
I know Georgia might have more experience with their team, but I feel like Bama has played better than Georgia since, of course, the Clemson bludgeoning beatdown. So, yeah. That gives me some pause because, if they play like that in Bryant Denny, then it will be the changing of the guard, for good in the SEC.
I agree, and that's something that I don't want to see.
Yeah.
In Bryant Denny, it just feels like you said, Georgia has officially overtaken Bama. You know what I'm saying? Like, Alabama's not in anymore. They're number 2. I don't want to see that. I hope Alabama can get the win. But yeah, it is a big game. It's a big swing game, and with the power of the SEC, the top dog, rather. Georgia wants to be that top dog, but Alabama just keeps fighting them off at the end of the Saban tenure, and hopefully now in the Caleb DeBoer era. We'll see. I think Bama will win. I really do. I think they'll get it done, but it's going to be a great game. I can't wait. Regardless of what happens, I cannot wait for the game.
Yeah, so I'm going to go score. Yeah, I'll go 24 to – I'll go with Troy. I'll go 21-20.
That sounds like a good score.
And we have Illinois, Penn State. I think it's a what? Is it it's a night game at Happy Valley.
Penn State
and a half.
I don't think Penn State will win by that much. I think Penn State will win 34-17. I think Illinois
I'll go 38-24.
If it was at Illinois, it'd be interesting, but yeah.
But not at night. Penn State at night, no.
See, that's an environment that's good at night.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. I don't think there's any denying that.
Notre Dame's good at night. It's just not good during the day.
For really dumb reasons that I've just learned.
Should we pick another Florida State game?
SMU. Do you think? You think SMU, right? I mean,
I have to pick SMU.
Yeah, I mean, they did good against TCU. Their defense is garbage, but that's the problem. Florida State's offense isn't that good.
I'll go 34-24 SMU.
SMU, I'll go 35-20.
And we have Cincy, Texas Tech.
That's an interesting little game.
I
mean, no one really cares about it, but, Cincy, Tech's gotten better since the Abilene game. They've gotten better. And Cincinnati looked great last week, even though it was Houston. But, I mean, I don't know. This is a decent little game. I don't know. I honestly coin flip on this one. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm just going to go with Tech because they're at home, man.
You know what? I'll take Cincinnati. I'll go Cincinnati 31-27.
All right. I'll go.
Jason says, SMU, their Colonial Athletic Conference Stadium, FSU 17, SMU 14.
I'll go 31-27 Texas Tech.
Okay. We went with the same score but different team.
Oh, okay. Then here we have the night games.
See, look at that game right there. Washington State, Boise State. Look at that game. Boise State 2-1, and they're ranked. I get why they're ranked because they hung with Oregon, but still, man, Indiana should have been ranked. Come on. But Boise State, I get it. Washington State 4-0. So we got the battle of the 26th ranked team versus the 25th ranked team. It doesn't happen very often. Boise favored by 7.5, though. They do have a good home crowd. I don't know about any extracurriculars, but I think their crowd's good, and it's going to be at night. The Washington State quarterback can put up stats, though. He can put up stats. I'm going to have Will but cracking up on this all year now.
My gosh.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, you told me something that's blown my mind. I mean, I'll never forget this day. I think Washington State's not a bad team. I don't think they're bad, but I think Boise's going to be too tough at home. I'll go with Boise 31-23.
I agree. I can't pick against Boise at home. I'll go 34-24. I'll ride Genty.
Arizona, Utah.
If this was at Arizona, it would be interesting. But
do you think it's like a last gasp for Arizona to be relevant?
Yeah.
Like Fafita, McMillan, like they need a win like this, though.
I can't see it, though.
I don't see it, though. They're just not as good losing all those players in Fish. It's not the same team.
I'll go 34-14.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go with Utah 28. 31, Utah 31, Arizona 20. Arizona's defense isn't very good. 31-20.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess Oregon big over UCLA.
Yeah. I think Oregon will beat UCLA by more than LSU, but will they beat them by more than Indiana did? You think they'll win by more than 29?
It's 50-50.
Yeah, Indiana beat them by 29.
Mm-hmm. Probably not.
Yeah, I'll go with Oregon to win 42-14. So we'll go with a 28-point win for Oregon. So Indiana will still have the most impressive win.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this was an interesting show today.
Absolutely. We learned new things, or at least I did, on the college football front about certain
I heard there's Big Ten schools that do the same thing, but
I don't think Indiana does that.
I don't know.
I don't think they do. I mean, I've never heard of such. I don't think they do. I mean, Indiana will. I've seen I've seen a whole section of the stadium where everybody's got their shirt off at Indiana. So I don't think.
I mean, the student section is allowed to stand, but
Jason says, I need Maryland to beat Indiana. I can't take Jeffrey all year with IU undefeated. Hey, I would be this excited for Alabama being undefeated, but I mean, I've been a fan of Alabama since, I've been a fan since 09, 08, 09. So I'm used to them winning. So I mean, I love Bama, but it's not as exciting, right? You know what I'm saying? So with Indiana, it's a big deal. I'm not trying to be overbearing, man. But we got to keep it rolling. Alabama, Indiana says Carolina let me down. Let's keep Alabama and Indiana undefeated. Troy says all three fans in Indiana games don't make that much noise, so no need to. You know that. We got Jackson showing Indiana Hoosiers live. Appreciate that, Jackson. But I'm glad. I appreciate everybody for being in the chat tonight, whether it was WillND or Only Talk Sports. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Helps both of our channels out. If you would like to sub, definitely appreciate it. But it was a fun show. I can't wait to watch the Alabama-Georgia game. Excited for Indiana-Maryland too. But really that Bama-Georgia game, I can't wait for that one. It's going to be great. And I'm going to be observing those stadiums more closely, man. I'm going to be observing those stadiums. Mark my words.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Hopefully Notre Dame wins for Will, or Louisville for Austin. I don't know.